Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks a lot for joining me. Today is Music Tuesday. That means I'm picking a random CD from my collection and making an art piece out of it. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to be making today as far as the design style goes. I'm just going to let the randomizer pick an album for me, and I'm going to decide something on the spot. So before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Now let's head over to the randomizer. Alright, so here's my CD collection. Everything is copied onto the artboard. Let's clear the movies, because we're not doing movies until Thursday. Alright, so now we're going to pick a random item from the list, and let's see what it picks today. The winner is the Masterplan. Oh, well that's perfect. I'm wearing my Oasis shirt. Alright, well that's really cool. So let's go ahead and grab that. I promise you that I did not plan this. That was one attempt and it came up as the Masterplan by Oasis. So this is not a studio album. This is actually a collection of B-sides taken, I think, primarily from the What's the Story Morning Glory sessions, but it's really, really great. There are a lot of Oasis fans out there that actually say that this is better than any album that they've ever put out. While I almost agree with that, like even just for the song Acquiesce, which is just like an awesome song, it's really great, especially when you're driving down the road. You got the windows down and it's a sunny day. Blast that song on full blast. It's a great song. But really everything on here is fantastic. So all right, so the Masterplan. Let's go ahead and get started and let's design something. I have no idea what I'm gonna do, so let's just go explore. All right, so here's my Pinterest board that I've actually put together for like poster ideas. And as you can see, most of it is, like all of it is pretty much typography. So that's good. And as far as the design styles go, I try to stay fairly consistent with what I'm putting together for you so that you'll actually, stick around and everything. But I am going to look for something and just see if anything just kind of jumps out at me. So the colors on this album, like there's a lot of greens and browns and stuff like that, and those are difficult colors to work with. But since this is a compilation album, let's do something maybe a little bit different. One of the things that I do like, I remember seeing this one a while ago, and I really like the overall design style of it. So let's just use that as inspiration. This is something that I put together for my daughter. She asked me to make a little dog bone with the name Sky on it for Paw Patrol. So let's go ahead and get this going on, and let's paste this into here. And this is actually cool. I like how they included a black background and a white background. So that's pretty cool. But this is going to be like, obviously I'm not going to do a straight up copy of this. This is just going to serve kind of as inspiration. But I do really like the design elements that are in here, these circles and the lines and everything. So I may do something with that. But really I'm just going to kind of use this as a starting point. So let me go ahead and grab my Swiss grid. Let's make sure that they are unlocked. They're not, so let's go ahead and unlock, copy them, and paste them. Group. And I put together an 18 by 24 inch right here. That's really kind of my go-to size, in case I want to get anything printed out. That's typically what I do. All right, so I'm going to start this with a white background, actually. So we're just going to lay down some text. And as far as the font goes, let's go ahead and maybe type in... Acumen is a good one, but it looks like for this Vincent Moon one, it looks like they might be using like 20th century or something very similar to 20th century. So let's just kind of look at that, just kind of compare. But it's very, if it's not 20th century, then it's, well, actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is 20th century, except, no, it is. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. That M is what kind of threw me off a little bit. But I actually really do like that, but it also depends on the letters that you're using as well. So like as far as the actual characters go. So let's check this out and see how we can break up the word Masterplan. And let's see. That's pretty interesting right there. You can just kind of, as far as just kind of getting the overall idea of it down on paper, because really what we're doing here is just kind of getting all of our ideas together, and then just going, kind of going from that point. Because, you know, if you've been designing posters for any period of time, you know that you don't just, you know, this right here, I just pointed to the screen, this right here doesn't just happen. You know, this, you have to eventually arrive at this. So, all right. So we have 2 weights for this. We got a regular and a bold. I think that I am going to keep it a regular right here, and let's just kind of play around with the font size a little bit. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to be matching this exactly, but I just want to get kind of an idea of it, and then we can just kind of tweak it from there. One idea that I did have is just kind of, you know, highlighting different portions of the text, you know, where it's the actual words themselves, and just kind of separating them by color a little bit. I think that might be a little bit more visually interesting. And then let's maybe ungroup, or convert outlines and then ungroup. And I'm going to set this probably down here on this side. I'd like 2 inches around the margin, or maybe 1.5 inch would be just fine. And then as far as the size goes, let's bring up our guide, and we'll just go right to that point right there. So it's a little bit more than half as far as what we're doing. And the sizing, I do like the sizing on it, but I do want to get the spacing figured out. So what they're doing here, they're doing kind of like, you know, they're doing kind of like the type inside of the columns. So like, you know, and they are nice and spaced out. But what I am going to do is I'm going to set the M right there as kind of our baseline, because of how wide that M is. And then I will align everything according to that M, and we'll just kind of push out all of these other letters. Let's grab these. And this should be 1/2 inch from here. So let's see how this looks if we align everything to that A right there. It's looking good. And then we'll align everything to the S, and then to that T right there. All right, so that's looking good. As far as the spacing goes, you know, because of how we had to do everything as far as basing it off of that M, things are a little bit more spread out than they should be. But, and actually, if you look at this right here, it doesn't appear that way on this one. So I think I will just kind of go in and maybe clean this up just a little bit. And maybe we don't necessarily have to have it that way. So I think what I'll do is I'll align it to here. This is looking good, although we do have a pretty good amount of openness right here. So I think I will just kind of do this, bring this over, and let's left align this as well. We'll just set it that way in the transform panel. No, let's not do that. Still want to keep the spacing nice and open there, but you know, definitely want it to be as consistent as possible. Okay. All right. Okay, that's looking good. So even though we've got a lot of letters, you know, like some of them are wide, some of them are, you know, a little bit more narrow, some of them are a little bit more in the middle. So I think that, you know, but when you're doing stuff like this, you want to just kind of do it optically. And then we will just kind of get this here. I think maybe 1 inch should be good. And we want to get all the way down to where the top of those characters start. Oops, -1. There we go. And the H and the T, it's still a little bit open, a little bit too open. Okay, that's good right there. All right, so the master plan, so let's go ahead and pull up the track listing for this. we'll go to the always trustworthy Wikipedia. Copy this in, and I'm going to go in and clean up this text real quick, so I'm just going to speed this up. All right, so I actually just had an idea. I did start speeding up that process, but then I saw that this actually does list out. So it lists out the title right here, and then it lists out the single that title is a B-side for. So actually, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm gonna do here as far as how to lay it out on the poster. Oops, what's going on? Okay, paste. There we go. And then we'll grab this right here, and then we'll paste these in here. That way I can go. That way I can quickly go in and grab all of these titles. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go in here, and let's really drastically lower the size of this. Maybe 30 point would be good here. Since this is in all caps, we'll go ahead and continue that with this. All right, so now let's go in and just get rid of all these quotes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to separate these individually, and let's go ahead and do optical kerning on this. I'm not going to bother going in and changing all of the kerning for these song titles here, but what I am going to do is let's go ahead and drop in the originals right here, and that last one is Wonderwall, so we will just type that in at the bottom. Not Wonderwall, Wonderwall. Okay. All right, so there's everything dropped onto the actual page itself. So what we're gonna do is now each one of these are nice and separated. So we will go ahead and rotate these. And whenever I'm resizing, I want to make sure that I'm rotating everything, and resizing everything all together at the same time. That way, if I do need to change the size of anything, then I'm changing the size of them all at the same time, and that way they remain the same size. All right, so let's go to 1.5, 1.5, and basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be connecting together the songs. The songs that are on the compilation album with the single, so like, you know, with the B-side, or with the A-side actually. All right, so let's go 1.5 inch down here at the bottom, and we may have to adjust our text here. Looks like we're probably gonna have to. So let's ungroup these, and basically what I want to do is I want to take this last one right here and put it right there, and I want to lock all of the master plan so I can interact with just the song titles. So let's group it together real quick, and we'll ungroup it later. So select all of these, and we're gonna distribute them. And we'll do the same thing here. We'll send it all the way to the side, and then back it off by 1.5 inches. And then, so that way these are all nice and laid out right here. Now that I'm looking at this, I think that I might, well, no, I might leave them this way, because, you know, this is like, you know, there's the master plan, which is the title of the album, but then the songs themselves are actually secondary information. It's not like it's, you know, I hate using this word, but tertiary, information. You know, it is important to the content of the poster. So I think that I will actually leave it that way. As far as the connecting lines go, I think that we're just gonna simply do the connecting lines, and then we can put the rest of the data that relates to the album in different places, and we'll just kind of figure out where those are gonna go. And I think what I'll do is I will do the first one, just kind of show you how I'm doing it, and then I'll speed up the video to do the rest. And let me, You know what? I actually, so I'm going to do this first. I'm going to do this one right here. Let's get our spacing the way that we want it to. I'd like it to be at a 1/4 inch past the song title. And then we will do the same thing here. We'll just bring this circle down here, and then a 1/4 inch from this, and then we'll connect the line to it. Okay. And now what we'll do is I will duplicate these and align them up to where they need to go. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up this portion of the video and get all the tedious work out of the way, and you can just watch me while I work. All right, can we say tedious?
Tedious.
All right, so that was crazy, very tedious. I had realized that the text at the bottom was actually flush left when it should have been flush right, because I was like, this is crazy. I've got all these different song titles, and like they're all the same length as far as the characters go, but no, they weren't actually. I just didn't go in and flush them to the right like I should have done. So as you can see right here, this is kind of our reference image right here. I just want to pause for a second. One thing I did notice while I was looking over at this is that these are not all evenly spaced out, which is fine. You know, I'm not going to go back in and change these, but one thing I am going to do is something kind of similar to posters that I've done in the past. I don't think I've done any on the channel like this, but what I am going to do is I am going to just kind of make it to where these interrupt the flow of the text right here. Or I could just bring it up to the front. No. All right, so I'm gonna do everything that I can to make it look as good as possible. So this is gonna be another sped up portion of the video right here, because I do have a little bit more tedious work to do. So I'm gonna go in there and do that, and you'll kind of see what I mean as far as like interrupting the flow of the text. But yeah, you'll see what I mean. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. All right, another very tedious bit right there, but that's what I mean about interrupting the flow of this. So, you know, whenever you're putting together things like this, you just got to be really, really patient. So patience is the key. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up a few things. So what I am gonna do here is I'll just put like the artist name, the release date, and maybe like the record label or something like that. But I'm just gonna put them like, so since we have like interrupting the flow of the master plan right over here on this side, to balance it out, I think I'm gonna put the information probably like maybe right over here. So so the only thing that will be in bold on this poster is going to be the band name itself. So we'll put Oasis over here, and we'll just kind of align it to this baseline right here, and we'll just kind of see maybe 1/8 of an inch is probably a good spot right there. All right, so Oasis, and then let's get some information about the album itself. So released, and I will keep the that format right there. Oops. Keep on jumping down to the vertical instead of the horizontal. All right, so let's do regular for this, and Let's see, maybe we'll do the length, and then we'll do creation records. There we go. Okay, let's just kind of see how that looks. All right, so I think what I might do is I might just kind of stagger things just a little bit. I think I'll just kind of do it optically. I don't think I'm going to do anything as far as like, well, actually, you know, I think we'll do this. Let's do this. Let's, well, no, I think I'll still just do it optically. Or maybe I actually do kind of like that pattern that we've got following here. So that's pretty cool. But I think what I will do though is I will move them over by 1. There we go. That's looking better. And it's mainly just to make sure that we have something on that outer edge right there. Okay, so we do have a little bit of an issue down here. So we've got these song titles that need to be brought up above this, and those colors right there are definitely giving us some trouble. So I think what we'll do for that is let's select both of these, and we'll give it the lightest color that we can while still being somewhat legible here. And we'll just kind of match these as well. So there we go. Okay, so that's good. Although this one is still behind that A right there. So let's go ahead and bring that forward. And I'm just gonna select all of these right here and just bring all of them forward just to be on the safe side. There we go. Okay, so that's looking good. Now, so I actually do consider this done. So let's go ahead and let's just call it done. But the last thing I am going to do is I'm going to set a border around here of no stroke and no fill, and that'll basically just determine the size of it. I'm going to copy this and bring it over into Photoshop, and then we're going to invert the colors so that way we can see what it looks like on a black background. Alright, so I've got this pasted directly into Photoshop right here as a vector smart object. That way, if we ever want to go back into Illustrator and change anything, then we can. So all we have to do to invert these colors is just go down here to our layer styles and just click invert, and it inverts all the colors. Now that I'm looking at this is the first time I'm seeing it like this. I would probably go in and kind of tweak those colors around just a little bit just to make sure that it's a little bit more on the legible side. Just because you invert colors doesn't mean it's going to be as legible when you do it after as it was before. But I do like this in general. I don't want to keep this going any longer because I'm coming up on time and I do have to get to like other work. So I'm just going to call this done. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the invert layer. So here we go. Here is our Masterplan compilation album poster. Inspired by this really cool one that I found on Pinterest, this Vincent Moon de Gira. I hope that I pronounced that correctly. Just really cool typography, really cool effects. So we're just kind of used some inspiration there. We didn't do a carbon copy of it and everything, but I did like how we just kind of interrupted the flow of the title of this and just kind of brought those little elements in. I may go in and refine this maybe for like an afternoon project or something like that, but this was really fun and I hope you enjoyed some Illustrator techniques, and sorry for all the tedious work that I had to put in there, but it was necessary for what we were doing. Alright, well thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks a lot for all of you who are subscribing. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.